Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to share with all of you the checklist that I have made you for your key assessment, along with the links that you are going to need for moving forward. So let me go ahead, share my screen, and I'm also going to share with you the dates and when everything is due, what needs to be due on specific dates so that there are no questions. So let me share this with all of you. Okay, so this was emailed to all of you in a Google Doc. This is obviously a Word document, but it does have all of the links and everything for you. So due on November 3rd is the following: the student background. So if you click where I've given you a link here, it will automatically bring you to this. Obviously, make a copy. But this shows you exactly what you need. So personal and family history, 1 to 2 paragraphs, medical information, 1 paragraph, educational information, 2 to 3 paragraphs. This goes right along with what we've been doing all along. So this should be pretty easy. Please note these stars that I have there that said, if there is something on the list that doesn't apply to your student, just state that. So for example, if your student doesn't participate in extracurricular activities, just say that. That's fine. Okay. So this is the student background information. Then when you go back here, you have the classroom data. Again, click the classroom data, make the copy of this, and then it will tell you exactly what you need to have for the classroom data. Formal data, 1 to 2 paragraphs. Informal data, 1 to 2 paragraphs. When including assessment data, you do have to provide me some background. So you can't just say they got this on iReady. You have to actually give me some information that goes along with that. Okay. So you're analyzing and explaining the data. You're not just putting it there. Then you have your initial test results and your analysis. At this point, there's no reason you should not have completed this. So you're going to include a screenshot of your Let's Go Learn data. And then you do have something here that brings you the analysis explanation and what you need for that. This is also right here for you. So you have your Let's Go Learn assessment. You're going to make a copy of it. You're going to do a description of the Let's Go Learn assessment. What subtest did they work on? Description of the assessment, how it was reported, the types of scores. So this all kind of comes from your, you learned this in your ed assessment class. So you should be able to do this 1 paragraph. Then any observations you had while they were doing the assessment. Did you notice that they took a really long time? Did you notice that they used a lot of strategies? So they were writing things down and they might have used a math strategy. When was it administered? How many days did it take? What time? And then strengths and areas of growth. So what do you notice from the data of the student's strengths and also areas of growth? So this is whole thing is going to be about 4 paragraphs long, and then your SMART goal or goals. You have to have a minimum of 1 goal, and this is what you're actually working on. So I know some of you had handed in SMART goals earlier in the semester, but those ended up not being the goals you were going to work on with your student. So what is your goal you're working on with your student? Okay. And then finally, you have, what do you plan on working on with them? Now, some of you have already started working with your student, and that's fantastic. But if you haven't, you have the link here to the intervention plan. You're going to include this in there. Now, this is also in the notebook that I gave you. So this is your intervention plan, and you're going to fill this out. Okay. I expect this to all be filled out. What is the intervention? What is the evidence-based practice you're working on with your student? What strategy did you choose? Materials, training, obviously you're not going to need a lot of training. Baseline data is your initial data. Where was the student? And then what is the outcome goal? Where do you want the student to be? Your SMART goal, right? And then how do you plan to progress monitor them? Are you going to use a teacher-made assessment? Are you going to use Let's Go Learn? Are you going to use EasyCBM? Are you going to use something else that you chose to use? I did give you some suggestions especially for reading assessments. So keep those in mind because you can't just say they're going to do reading. Okay, so that is what is due November 3rd. Okay, that is due this coming Sunday. So that's the first part of your key assessment. You will notice the next part is due November 24th. This is your actual intervention. This is the working with the student. So I've given you plenty of extra time to work on this. Originally, this was all going to be due this week. So I'm giving you lots of extra time. It has to be done by November 24th, though, because you're done with placement then. But this should give you enough time to do this. So you have to meet with your student a minimum of 5 times. I'm going to say that again, a minimum of 5 times. So there are two options for the weekly log. You can use option 1 or option 2. Option 1 you've already seen. So option 1 is just this weekly form that I had given you originally. So it is, the teacher name, the student, when you met with them, what day were they present, and this is a form you can fill out. Option 2 looks a lot like it. It's slightly different, but you can choose which one you want to use. I don't have any preference either of these. So this one's a little bit more in depth, but it might be helpful for some of you. So this one actually has you put your goal, your SMART goal. It does say intervention session 1, 2, and 3. You're going to need a minimum, and this is for both of these forms, a minimum of 3 of these. So you may be working with your student twice a week, you may be working with your student once a week, but you have to have 5 total times you're meeting with them. So you might meet with them over 3 weeks, and you have one of these for meeting with them twice one week, twice the next week, and once the third week. You might have 5 of these because you met with them once a week over 5 weeks. You might have 4 of these because one week you met with them twice, one week, and the other 3 weeks you met with them once a week. Okay, so minimum of 3 of these you're going to have for the minimum of 5 total sessions. You don't need one of these for every session if you're meeting with them twice in that week. This also gives you a place to put your data information. I really do like this. So if you want to put your data information here, you can. And then a short analysis. This is a lot like the other form. It just is spread out a little bit differently. Okay, so again, you must meet with your student a minimum of 5 times. You will have a minimum of 3 of these forms. You can't meet with them 3 times one week. Well, I guess you could 3 times one week, and then once the week after, and then once the week after that. But you have to have these. The final assessment does not count as an entire session with a student. It doesn't. You have to have one more time to meet with them to do the final assessment, and one time you're meeting with them to do the initial assessment, which you've already done. Then you're going to do your progress monitoring. Again, a minimum of 5 progress monitoring points. It doesn't include the initial data. It doesn't include the final data. It's 5 progress monitoring points. There are a couple different ways to do that. You can use Let's Go Learn to queue a scale quiz. So that's here. Easy CBM, again, teacher-made assessment. So you have multiple options there. As I mentioned previously, you're going to, if you're doing reading, Let's Go Learn isn't the best. Easy CBM definitely does have more. You're going to calculate a percentage correct from each of your assessments that you do with your student, okay? So each time you meet with them, Let's Go Learn and Easy CBM are already going to give you a percentage. They're going to tell you what percentage they got correct. So easy peasy. Other things that you use, you may have to calculate the percentage. So if you're doing reading a list of high frequency words, you're going to have to figure out the percentage correct. Then you need to do a spreadsheet with a graph of your students' progress. Here is a how-to do that. So it's right here for you. Then you have your analysis of student progress. Here is an explanation for you. Again, it's one of those documents that's going to say, this is what you need to do. Minimum of 5 progress monitoring points. I've already said that. You should be using Let's Go Learn tests or subtests. Again, you can use Easy CBM. I will add that to this. A line graph of the progress. If you monitor two goals, you really should only be monitoring one, but if you monitor two goals, then you're going to have two separate lines. And then finally, 1 to 2 paragraphs on analyzing the data that was collected. What did you notice? Was there a trend? Were there any extenuating circumstances why the data may be different? So you noticed that they had absences, they had illnesses, whatever that might look like. Okay. And then you're going to have your student progress explanation. This goes along with your progress monitoring. Again, this is right here for you, as I just showed you. Finally, you're going to do your final assessment. You're going to create a sub-test based on the skill you've been working on. You're going to use this for directions. Here's directions. And then again, you have your analysis of your final results. And I've given you a link to tell you exactly what to do for that. That is all due on November 24th. There will be no extensions on this. There can't be because we're at the end of the semester. So there's not much I can do at that point. And then finally, due on December 1st will be your final analysis and future plans. This is forthcoming. I will get this to you, but I'm not going to get that to you today because you have enough other stuff I'm giving you. All right, so that was a whole lot, but this is your step-by-step of everything you need to do. Everything goes right into that key assessment notebook, and then you'll upload your key assessment notebook 3 times. Okay? If you have questions, just reach out to me, but please use the stuff I'm giving you so that you can get this done. Okay? Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.